Okay, so today we'll be talking about my most anticipated part of Starfield, ship customization. Thanks to this blow up of the ship example thing, we have everything we need to see exactly what we can change in a ship, and then we only need our imaginations to see what that can mean for customization. There are 13 sections in the example given, and each of those sections are going to have different stats and purposes for the ship. The simplest and less interesting sections are the fuel tanks, the docker, reactor, cargo hold, and the landing gear. All of their functions are very simple and straightforward, and improving those sections will largely be dependent on the other aspects of the ship. Bigger fuel tanks might mean better maneuverability or longer jumps. It could also simply be a requirement for a bigger reactor. And then, of course, if you have bigger fuel tanks, you're going to have more weight on the ship, so you're going to need to compensate for that. The reactor will obviously dictate how much power is generated in total, giving you more wiggle room to throw extra power where it's needed without hindering your ship too much as a result. And again, if you want better engines, you might need a bigger reactor. The engines will of course dictate your overall speed and maneuverability. The docker might have certain equipment by the door, so if you make a habit of piracy, having weapons ready to grab next to it when you make an unannounced visit on another ship in the docker, that might be a thing, but maybe it's just a stylistic choice. I can't really see much else, any stat reasons for the docker to exist. The cargo hold, I imagine, is just a place for stuff that we're trucking to different places. Its weight capacity will most likely be its biggest consideration. If you add the super spacious cargo hold that can hold another ship, you're going to need enough power to get your own ship off of the ground. Additionally, your maneuverability will probably take a hit as you increase your cargo capacity. The shield generator will most likely have a power requirement tied to its strength, but if you have a beefy shield, you're obviously going to be able to absorb more damage. The bay is basically the door, so I imagine that a bigger bay will give you the option to load bigger objects into your ship, but we haven't seen that as far as I know, so this could literally just be the front door of the ship. And then the landing gear. Aside from an aesthetic choice, I can't think of anything other than its weight capacity as an important consideration for which one to use. I am, however, really excited to see what kind of landing gear modders whip up in this case. The aesthetics for those are going to be amazing. They mentioned a dev liking to make their ship look kind of like animals, so I imagine a set of landing gear that really are shaped like spider legs being developed by modders. Or at least if they don't exist in vanilla right now. But the more important parts of the ship seem to have way more variation to them. In the video, the devs show the hab, which comprises the main habitable area for the player and crew, and talk about the quick upgrade option for ships, and then the ship builder mode, which throws way more options at you. First off, the hab in the video is made by Nova Galactic, while there are more options available by Demos. Or maybe it's Deimos, I don't know. We can see from the example images that the Nova Galactic designs are kind of bulky, while the Demos options are way more sleek. They all say 1x1 or 2x1 and so on, and we can see that these are the connection points between the other parts of the ship. Considering the size of the landing pads and the fact that we'll be landing on them through a cinematic, we might not see hubs that are more than 3 connection points large. If there are, then, I don't know if there are other landing pads that the ships will go on. Maybe the cinematic will create bigger ones that we can land on if our ships are massive. The highlighted hab in the video has 10 variations, and the player goes through a few of them. The all-in-one berth version A and B, the armory, which I imagine is the hab for crafting or displaying our weapons, captain's quarters if we want our very own bedroom, then there's the computer core, which might be necessary if we add more and more systems to the ship. The control station might be the section in the video where we saw our crew sitting at computers, ready for orders to take off. Aside from that one hab's many options, the other habs had various options as well. Just in this one example or scene, there are 6 different habs with a total of 28 variations, with the Nova Galactic Engineering Bay being the only hab on the list that has no other purpose or variance. I think that if you could generate enough power to lift off, you could add every single option here to the ship and make a single block of habs if you wanted to. This isn't including other hab manufacturers that we don't know about, special designs that could be discovered in the game, and of course the infinite options that modders could create for the game. And this is just the hab section. I imagine that this same degree of variance is available for the cockpit, the weapons, and possibly the cowling. The system looks pretty simple to use if you have an idea of how you want to utilize a particular ship, and if piracy is your thing, there might be a way to harvest ships you've captured and use their parts in your own ship creations. This is essentially the evolution of the way the power armor was in Fallout 4, and I'm really excited for the possibilities of what Bethesda has created for the vanilla game. I have no doubt that someone will create every famous spacecraft that has ever been conceived in Starfield, and I'll be all over it when they do. Imagine being a pirate using Darth Vader's TIE fighter. I am drooling at the thought. I'm sure that there are going to be system limitations of what is actually possible, but if a dev was able to make a ship full of habs and take off successfully, those limitations might be really easy to work around. So what do you think about what we've seen of the ship customization system so far? Are you as excited about it as I am? Let me know what you might build in the comments below, and also what you think about the system as a whole. Next time, I think I'll look into the weapons and crafting system that they kind of went over kind of quickly in the showcase, so look forward to that. But for now, like the video if you liked the video, dislike it if you disliked it, and until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.